What's up, Tweeners? Welcome back to another Tweener tennis video today here on the channel, and we are back home from our trip to Kentucky, and I couldn't have asked for a better experience. Now, I hope you guys do enjoy this interview with Francois, or as the team calls him, Frenchie, because he's an unbelievable talent. Great way to kind of go from starting at Grand Canyon to Old Dominion, our first school that we did on this tour, and now at a top 20 school at the University of Kentucky. And it's unbelievable, his story, and would love to share it with you guys. So make sure to show your appreciation for him and for this video by hitting that like button and consider subscribing to the channel. We're trying to get to 5,000 subscribers by the end of this year, and over 80% of you that watch these videos aren't even subscribed. What's up with that, guys? Would love to have you guys join the channel. Would love to have you guys stick around a little bit longer. Now, enjoy our interview with Francois. For this, so we can just get into it. But thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. 5th year here at UK. Actually came from the school that I first did this tour with at Old Dominion with Dom. But thank you so much for joining me today. It's going to be a lot of fun. Talk us about your process of coming to UK and deciding to go and be a 5th year.
So what happened is that the COVID year in 2020, I was a senior at the time, and I was playing for Old Dominion, and at the time I had no clue how everything would be unfolding with the pandemic, but then when things were not really getting better in fall 2020, I decided to stay home and practice and stay with my family. And it's only last summer, so summer 21, that I saw that things were getting a little bit better, and I knew that I had this extra year of eligibility. And at that time I wanted to play professional, but I got injured for like about 6 months, so things were not really going my way. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go back to the States and do my MBA. So I talked to a few schools, and I decided to come to UK. Now I'm doing my MBA, and yeah, 2 more months to go.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
You excited for it, or?
Yeah, I'm very excited for it. I think it's been a lot of fun so far already. We did some good things with the team, but I think that the best is to come, or at least I really hope so.
You would hope so.
Top
15 in the country.
I strongly believe that we can do better than what we've been doing. But now is the time to do it, so we'll see.
What was it like? You said that you went through an injury, right? Like, what was that process like to come back from that and then go to a new school? What was going through your head at the time?
So at the time, I had a first injury where I was out for about 5 months. Then I started to play again, and I went to play like pro tournaments in Tunisia. And after 2 weeks, I injured myself again for another 2.5 months. So at that time, I was like, things are not really going my way, and I should probably get like the option of going back to the States and really get the best out of it. But it's been a little bit challenging at the beginning, because even though I'm a 5th year, technically I'm for sure not a freshman anymore. But new school, new environment, new coaches, new teammates, like everything was so new that it was quite hard to adapt at first. So it was a lot, but I mean now, like 7 months later, I'm very happy that I took this decision, and yeah, I'm having a blast. So
I love that. And for you, kind of balancing that pro tournament aspect and coming back to school, what's the mentality like when you go from playing futures in Tunisia to playing in Lexington and playing for a really, really good team?
So the plan for me is still the same. Like, I'm trying to be the best that I can with tennis. So at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter if I'm playing professional or if I'm playing co-ed tennis, because in co-ed tennis there are a lot of good players as well. Competition is very high, of course. So I'm just trying to give my best, and at the same time, if I can get this degree that later on will most likely help me to, you know, if I don't want to be working in tennis anymore, it's going to open a lot of gates. So yeah, I'm just very excited to get that shot.
I love that. And for you, when you first started playing tennis, what was your goal always to kind of go pro?
So I started to play pretty late. So I was like 10 years old, which is kind of late for like it's kind of late like for
I feel
people.
so unathletic when I speak to you guys. It's so unfair.
No, but usually like people who wants to play professional, they're gonna start much younger.
Yeah.
So I started like when I was 10, and then I really fell in love with the game. So I always wanted to play pro, but in between I've had like a lot of injuries that kind of like always made me think like twice about it. So that's why I decided to take the road of like studying on the side.
Love that.
And yeah, I mean, after this year, most likely I'm gonna give it a shot and play fully on tour.
Love that.
For at least like a few years to see like where I can go, you know, like what's the limit, and at least I don't have any regrets. So I'm really looking forward to that.
For a guy to transfer from two schools, what is the adjustment that you're taking from one coach to another? Not to put either Dom or your coach here to like on the spot, but what's been like that transition like of adapting to a new environment?
It's actually a good question because it was my second transfer. Because my first school was actually in Arizona.
Okay.
So my freshman year I was in a smaller D1 school called Grand Canyon University. So I spent 1 year there, then I spent 3 years at ODU, and that's pretty much my last year. So I kind of knew what to expect with transferring. It's just the standards that are changing, you know, like the way we are competing and the schools we are competing against. It's a different environment, but I think that in all of these schools there were a lot of good things to get out of the experience, and I'm just really thankful for like all these coaches and all the people that have been part of at least my journey here. It's been nothing but fun.
Love that.
It was just so many good times.
Love that. And to kind of get to a more kind of fun side of questions, and these are just rapid fire Q&A questions. The first one, whose shot would you want to have in a clutch moment? If it's 5-all, deuce point, could be yourself, could be any one of your teammates. Whose shot on your team would you want to have?
I will take Gab's forehand.
Really?
Gab's forehand, yeah, Gab's forehand.
Okay. Last one said his serve, so we're seeing Gab be the guy to
I'll keep my serve.
I'll keep your serve.
I'll keep my serve.
Love that. Who's the best roommate to travel with?
To me, I will say I like to be with Arthur Chen.
Okay.
He's very calm, very quiet, and when I'm traveling, at least when I'm like in the tennis world, I like to be calm and focus on my thing.
Love that.
So to me, I would say Arthur Chen, yeah.
I love that. And who would be the worst roommate? Not worst, but who wouldn't you want to room with?
I think before match, I would not want to be with Liam.
Really?
I think he might be loud and messy, and I really need my space. So I think Liam will be no.
I swear, I'm not trying to break up your team, but I'm just saying.
It's okay.
It's a very common question to ask.
Yeah, no, probably not Liam.
Not Liam. Okay.
Yeah.
Whose game on the Pro Tour do you think is similar to yours?
I think I will say Andy Murray.
Why?
Andy Murray. Because he's able to do a lot of things. Little bit weaker on the forehand side, very good backhand. Able to break the rhythm of the opponents and like kind of mix it up. He can defend and he can come to the net. He's a little bit sneaky, and that's what I do too. So I'll go with Andy Murray.
Love that. And last question: what's the best piece of advice going to 3 different schools, having a variety of coaches? What's the best piece of advice that you've been given?
Try to follow your own journey and try to focus on yourself. No one's journey is the same, so I think it's very important to keep trying your best, because for some guys it's gonna come easier, for other guys it's gonna be a little bit harder. Like you never know, but the sure thing is that if you always keep your head down and do the right things over a certain amount of time, like things are just gonna work out, you know. And it's with tennis and even off the court with the teammates, with like the overall experience, I think.
Love that. Thank you so much for joining me today, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.